I still have nightmares about the day I caught our stealthy janitor mid-shoot in every wedding photo. It started when a bride-to-be sent me an email, frantic that someone was photobombing her special day. She had hired a professional photographer to capture every moment of her big day, but it seemed like some invisible presence kept showing up in the background of nearly every picture. At first, I thought maybe it was just a prankster or an overzealous guest trying to get into the shot. But then another couple came forward with the same issue. Their photographer had snapped a perfect pic of the happy couple exchanging vows, but there was someone lurking just out of focus in the corner of the frame. It wasn't until I started reviewing the photos myself that I noticed it too. A slight blur in the background of every wedding picture, always positioned at exactly the same angle. And then it hit me, this person wasn't just photobombing weddings. They were sneaking into all sorts of public events. We had pictures of them lurking behind a banner at a corporate conference, sitting in the front row at a music festival, and even perched on top of a street lamp during a busy city night. The more I looked, the more I realized that our janitor wasn't just any ordinary cleaner. He was a master of stealth. He seemed to have an uncanny ability to blend into his surroundings, always keeping just out of sight until the perfect moment to strike. But what really caught my attention was how methodical it all seemed. Every time, the photographer would snap the shot, and then this person would suddenly appear in the background. It wasn't until I started digging through old security footage that I stumbled upon a shocking discovery. Our janitor had been at every single wedding photo shoot we'd done over the past year. He was always lurking just out of frame, waiting for his cue to enter into view. It was like he had some sort of sixth sense that told him exactly when and where to appear. But here's what still doesn't add up. How does someone manage to sneak into so many high-profile events without anyone ever noticing? I've reviewed the security footage again and again, but every time it just raises more questions. What is this person searching for in these wedding photos? And why do they seem to have such a peculiar fascination with our particular company? As I continued to investigate, I started to notice other strange patterns emerging, not just at weddings, but at all sorts of public events. This person seemed to be drawn to the most unlikely places, always appearing in the background like a ghost. And what really got my attention was how they'd often leave behind small tokens or trinkets after each appearance. Tiny notes scribbled on scraps of paper, delicate flowers tucked away in hidden pockets. But it wasn't until I received an anonymous package with no return address that things took a truly bizarre turn. Inside, there was a small, intricately carved wooden box adorned with strange symbols and markings. The note attached said simply, "For the person who sees what's really happening." Suddenly, all these disparate threads started to weave together in my mind. The hidden messages, the tokens left behind, the seemingly impossible timing of this mysterious presence. As I sat there staring at that small wooden box, something clicked into place. It was as if I'd finally unlocked a long-hidden puzzle. Our janitor wasn't just a master thief or prankster. He was some sort of messenger, a guardian of secrets and hidden truths. It sounds absurd now, but at the time it made perfect sense. And yet, as I look back on that wild ride, there's still one nagging question that refuses to leave my mind. What if this person wasn't just a master thief after all? What if he was something much more sinister? It's been months since then, and our company has finally started to rebuild. But sometimes late at night, I'll catch myself thinking about that mysterious presence lurking in the shadows of every wedding photo, wondering what secrets lie hidden behind those enigmatic smiles. I'd often find myself scrolling through old photos, searching for any sign of our phantom janitor. And that's when it hit me. He wasn't just lurking in the background of wedding shots, but also in photos from corporate events, birthday parties, and even employee picnics. It was as if he had a personal stake in capturing every moment of joy and celebration within these walls. I started to feel like I was living in some kind of twisted Truman Show, where our janitor was the unseen puppet master controlling the narrative. One evening, while reviewing footage from a recent gala, I stumbled upon a peculiar detail that made my heart skip a beat. Our mysterious figure was actually holding something in his hand. It wasn't just a random object. It looked like a small notebook with a worn leather cover. The camera angle was too tight to make out any writing, but the way he delicately cradled it suggested importance. I couldn't shake off the feeling that this notebook held more than just secrets. It held keys to unlocking our janitor's true intentions. I began to wonder if he wasn't collecting more than just memories. Perhaps he was collecting evidence, documenting his own private investigation into what exactly the employees, the company, or something even bigger. Around this time, our IT department started receiving reports of strange network activity. Files would be copied and deleted in rapid succession, only to reappear later with no explanation. It sounded like the work of a ghost in the machine, but I couldn't help but wonder if our janitor was somehow involved. Was he using his access to cover his tracks or plant breadcrumbs for someone or something else? One evening, as I was poring over the security footage, I received an unexpected visit from one of our employees. She approached me with a hesitant look on her face and whispered that she'd seen the janitor arguing with one of our senior executives in the storage room late at night. The conversation was brief, but it seemed intense. Both men were gesturing animatedly, their voices hushed but urgent. I was taken aback by this revelation. What could a high-ranking executive possibly have to discuss with our enigmatic janitor? Was he a mole within the company, feeding information to his secret ally in the shadows? As I delved deeper into the mystery, I started to notice something peculiar. Every time one of these incidents occurred, there would be a brief window of calm afterward. It was as if our janitor's actions were somehow balancing out some internal force within the company, keeping everything from teetering into chaos. The more I uncovered, the more I began to feel like I was losing my grip on reality. Was I actually piecing together a sinister conspiracy, or just creating an elaborate web of coincidences? One thing remained certain: our janitor's presence had turned every moment at work into a thrilling game of cat and mouse, where nothing was ever as it seemed. As the investigation continued to unfold, I couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay hidden behind those enigmatic smiles in the wedding photos. And then, just as I thought I'd reached a dead end, something caught my eye: a small notation on an old report from our IT department, seemingly scribbled in haste. Janitor's been seen near server room after hours, possible unauthorized access. It was dated 3 months before the suspicious photos started appearing, but it was the cryptic notation itself that got my attention. What did they mean by possible unauthorized access? Was our janitor just a curious cleaner or something more? I decided to pay him a visit, hoping to catch him off guard and maybe get some answers out of him. We were in the middle of a busy afternoon, with staff scurrying about preparing for an upcoming event, so I had to wait until he took his usual break in the supply closet. I casually strolled over to the area, trying not to draw attention to myself, as I waited by the vending machine. A few minutes passed, and then, just as expected, our janitor emerged from the supply closet, a worn-out broom slung over his shoulder. But what caught me off guard was that he wasn't alone there. Hanging on the edge of the counter was one of those small camera flash devices commonly used for photography. It looked like it had been hastily discarded, but I knew exactly where to look next: our wedding photos archives. I quietly followed him at a safe distance, trying not to make any sudden movements that might alert him to my presence. As he made his way back out into the main hallway, my eyes scanned the area around me, taking in the familiar layout of our office complex, but something felt off today. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but every time I thought about what I had just seen, a shiver ran down my spine. I trailed behind him as he made his way to the break room, where he proceeded to grab a cup of coffee and take a seat at one of the tables by the window. He seemed completely nonchalant, chatting on his phone like he didn't have a care in the world. But I knew better. I had seen that look before, that look of calculated calmness that usually preceded a sneaky move. I took this opportunity to slip into the break room and make my way over to the photo archives, which were stored in a large storage unit against one wall. It was an area typically reserved for administrative staff, but I had full access to it due to my role as head of events. I quickly made my way inside, my eyes scanning the rows of neatly organized files, until I found what I was looking for: our wedding photo albums. I began flipping through the pages, my heart racing as I came across more and more photos that seemed suspiciously taken at odd angles or in low-light conditions. And then it hit me: these weren't just any ordinary photos. These were all the ones where our stealthy janitor was visible in the background, often lurking just out of frame. It was like he had a sixth sense for being in the right place at the right time to get himself into the shot. I felt a surge of anger and frustration as I realized just how long this must have been going on: months, years even. How many weddings had we unknowingly hired him for, only for him to secretly capture compromising moments and sell them off to who knows what kind of shady characters? The thought sent a chill down my spine, and I knew I had to get to the bottom of this once and for all. I started going through old photo albums and archives, scouring every frame for any sign of our mysterious janitor. And then it happened a particularly candid shot of him, sneaking into the reception hall during my sister's wedding 5 years ago. I recognized the background, the lighting, even the faint hum of the air conditioning vents in the corner. He'd been there before, and he would be again.